filmmaker and author Vivek Ranjan.
Hello everyone. Please don't clap so much, because it really makes me very nervous. The only thing I would like to correct there, yes, I'm a filmmaker, but I resigned from Bollywood many years ago. Amitji has spoken so well. He has actually told you, which I also believe is the truth. But today, we are going through a very strange kind of a situation. And I find myself utterly confused. And I don't want to talk like a filmmaker. Actually, I'm a nobody. I'm just a storyteller. What I see, I keep telling. I don't know where I belong. I come from the world's oldest, longest, most liberal, most progressive, most logical, most scientific civilization called Indian civilization. And I have to say Indian civilization because we are standing in a very politically correct land. Honestly speaking, Hindu civilization. Hindu civilization, when I say, it includes everyone who has ever lived under the influence of that civilization, be it Muslims, Sikhs, Buddhists, whoever. Today, Hindu civilization is standing at a point. From here, we can actually show the light to the world, which we must, which we shall, or we can get lost in mediocrity. If you want to understand the evolution of any society, modern society, you must, I have a theory. If you want to understand the socio-political evolution of a society, you study the villains of their films. If you study the villains of Hindi cinema, Sarping Galtiyo Maaf Karega, he is a encyclopedia himself. I am more a popular speaker, so I am not so academic. If you study Hindi cinema, especially, look at the movies of 40s, just pre-independence. The villain used to be Zamindar, the landlord. And this landlord had a koti which symbolized power. And he controlled land and gold. Land is something which God doesn't manufacture anymore. So he practically had the overall control on the society. He was exploitative, oppressive. You'll find his son would go in a jeep and he would rape women at will. But then, somewhere a farmer's son, a poor farmer's son, or some middle class, non-English speaking boy will emerge from somewhere and he will fight. He will go on the war of dharma and he will defeat it. And very often, the friend of this hero, the sidekick as we call in filmy jargon, was a journalist who would go on a bullock cart or a bicycle or in a third class compartment, generally with no money, who would help him morally, show him what is the morality of the society. I'm talking very generally speaking, not getting into specific films right now. Then we found independence. And with independence, at that time maybe it was fashionable, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru decided to follow the socialist model. Urbanization was a requirement of that time. And Nehruji was very fascinated with things which were not Indian. And he was Pandit Nehru was a great thinker. Let's not take that away from him. But that thinking never helped us. He was a landlord's son. If you look at it, honestly, nobody talks. History is written in many ways, but I talk about what I see with my eyes. If anybody has seen Anand Mahal, don't forget Mahal, in Allahabad. Huh? Anand Mahal. But it's Mahal, aap jaake खत्म होता ही बोलना. Hard-earned money, whatever, but the attitude was very zamindari. So when India found independence, with urbanization, you will find in our movies, suddenly the villain became the mill owner. And this mill owner was nobody. He was the same zamindar who migrated from villages to cities. The power, the narrative, still was controlled by the same oppressive, exploitative person. But again, a middle class, some teacher's son, some a farmer's son, some labor's son, again he would get up and go on this war of dharma. And his friend again would be some poor guy, rooted in Indian ethos, and they would defeat this villain, oppressive villain. Then Lal Bahadur Shastri, when he died, Indira Gandhi took over. She controlled the society more. The society started getting centralized. I have just finished a film on the mysterious death of Sri Lal Bahadur Shastri, and we researched for 3-4 years. India was colonized again. India was illegally, unconstitutionally was colonized again, and therefore now this power, this control, this oppression came in the hands of people who could manipulate, who were the beneficiary of Congress's corrupt regime, who could control the rationing, the licensing, petrol pumps, and you will find in the movies of that era, even Roti Kapda Makan and a whole lot of movies of that time, the villain was this man who controlled the ration, the food, who controlled kerosene, who controlled petrol. But again, some lawyer's son, teacher's son, a common man, middle class boy, who was not speaking English, who respected his mother, his family, rooted in Indian culture, he would again get up like Amitji was saying, the thought was Hindu. This was 60s and mid-70s. And this was the period when the progressive, all the communist directors and writers dominated Indian film industry. Raj Kapoor, Gurudutt, Mehboob Saab, Kaifi Azmi, you name it, Sahib Janvi, they were all communist people. But they were never anti-India, they were never anti-Hindi. They were anti-social evil. Then Amitabh Bachchan's era starts. And now, the same person was either a dacoit, or a MLA, or he was an IS officer or a minister. Same zamindar who became a mill owner, he became a middleman, then he became this. And then we discovered a new thing. This urban guy, because during Indira Gandhi's regime, a lot of urbanization took place. And there was a lot of urban angst amongst youth. And that's why you will find Amitabh Bachchan's movies propagated, Salim Javed's era, something called personal justice. He didn't believe in constitution. He would just enter the Vidhan Sabha and he would kill all the MLAs. And also at this time we were celebrating smugglers and dacoits and all those things. Then times changed, came 90s. This was liberalization. This was a very funny and ugly phase of Hindi cinema. You would find, now there were not just one villain. Suddenly we had two villains. The villain and villain ka beta. You had a Kader Khan and you had a Shakti Kapoor. You would have Pran Saab, you had Gulshan. Now two people started oppressing, and don't forget, look at the society of 90s. तुम जानते हो मैं किसका बेटा हूं? मेरा बाप कौन है? And again you will find some common man, middle class, somebody like you and me would get up and fight this man and win the war of dharma. And then something very strange happened. Came 2000. This was Shah Rukh Khan's era. And suddenly from Hindi films, the villain disappeared. villain became a girl's father. And this common hero, the hero who's rooted in common India, he also disappeared. And he became an NRI. And if you look at the films 2000 onwards, I always say, if you have to go to Czechoslovakia or Italy or any foreign country, and if you don't know about them, pick up 5 latest films of that country, you'll get to know about their architecture, their food habits, their clothes, their politics, their family system, how the roads look, how the buildings look, everything you get to know, some brief idea you will get. But if somebody from Czechoslovakia has to come to India and he picks up 5 films of Shah Rukh Khan era, he'll get to know everything about London and New York, but he'll never get to know anything about India. And this is when we started losing the war of narratives. Do not forget this world. The history of humanity is all about war of narratives. Whatever has been done, don't romanticize everything. Whatever human beings have done in this world in thousands of years is only for war of narratives. And that's when we deleted the common man from the main narrative. Any newspaper you pick up, everything you'll get to know, you'll never get to know about the concerns and aspirations of a common Indian. You open the television, you will never ever find the aspirations of common Indian. Sorry Amit ji, you were talking about that we make a lot of mythology, but that's all pop mythology. That mythology has got nothing to do with India or Indian history. This is catering to a very different group. We have systematically, from the main narrative, we have taken the common man out. When I understood that, that was the day I resigned from Bollywood. Year was 2009. And I started teaching. And when I was teaching, I came across a bunch of students in Indian School of Business, Hyderabad, who brought some research to me, and I realized that this is very systematically done. There was a nexus between the intelligentsia, academia, and the media, and the NGOs, and the historians, and they were telling us everything except for the greatness of this great civilization. And then I decided I will fight it. I will create a counter narrative, in whichever way. When we started, it was a very small movement. We didn't know that it will reach here and it will yield results. But that also brings me to a point in conviction. I'm convinced if you walk on the path of dharma, antataha satyamev jayate. Now before I finish this, I want to tell you 3 things. In the world, we are made to feel embarrassed and small about 3 very critical issues about Hindu civilization, and time has come, we need to correct them. Number 1, intolerance. Let's talk about intolerance in a very scientific manner. Let's not ridicule it saying that this guy says and media says that and blame it on Amir Khan. No, Amir Khan is not responsible for what the world is saying. He's one of them. Maybe he said something. Now, intolerance. Let's start with political. Tell me which other democracy in this entire universe allows you to start a political party on Marx, Stalin, Mao, anybody you want. Is it possible? Can you start a party on Mao in America, the freest land of the world? Not that. We have a political leader called Stalin. And next 10 or 15 years, I won't be surprised if he contests for Prime Minister's election. Can you do that here? Can somebody called Stalin or Hitler contest for the president's election? We have the world's maximum number of political parties. Anybody can start anywhere, whichever way you want. You can debate the quality of the political parties. You can't question the principle of tolerance. Economic, now financial tolerance. I was in Kashmir shooting. The entire Lal Bazaar is full of Sikhs. Where is Pandit ji? Puchi, kitne sare sardaron ki dukaan hai? All the Marwadis run business in Calcutta. So many Punjabis I meet any Biharis do farming in Punjab. In India, nobody stops you from doing business wherever you want, whichever business you want. In fact, you will find the kind of businesses which are found only in India, nowhere else. For example, हड्डी तोड़ने की दुकान, हड्डी जोड़ने की दुकान. But on a serious note, let's come to religious tolerance. We are a land which has produced world's four most peaceful religions. We have conquered religiously. When we started traveling, the entire East we conquered religiously. When Buddha started moving, the entire East became Buddhist. In the West, we couldn't do. So religious freedom, you can practice anything, any ritual, nobody stops you. People keep talking about it. The other day, I was invited to India Today conclave in Calcutta. In Calcutta, the subject was diversity in food. Shri Rajdeep Sardesai was the moderator. Every time somebody spoke, somebody was saying, Rosho Billa is from Odisha. The other gentleman was in a light-hearted way. He said, no, it is from West Bengal. The moderator would say, but what about beef? Somebody would talk about Mysore Pak, he said, what about beef? Now, it was full like this, some 1,000 odd people over there. When my turn came, I just asked two questions. I said, first of all, how many people here, tonight when you go back, can ask your mother to cook beef in your kitchen?
No one.
Very few, 5, 6 hands came up. They also came to embarrass me. The second question I asked, have you ever met anybody who has been stopped from eating whatever he wants to eat? I travel more than anybody else. Trust me, I'm telling you, you know everything is on Twitter. I'm traveling every single day. In a few days, I travel 2 cities in one day. And not only in India, everywhere. I have till date, I asked this question everywhere. I have not met anybody who has been stopped from eating what he wants to eat. But the narrative is being created. You look at any front, education, let's take tolerance. How many kind of education systems you have in most of the democracies, public and private? In India, you want to go to madrasa, go. You want Buddhist education system, go. If you don't want any education, go to Krishnamurti's foundation. If you want to say go Jesus and Mary, you can go. You go to central school. Any kind of education systems you will find. You find education in variety. If you have want to teach, educate in some way, you can. It's a wrong propaganda against us. The problem is, we have given them the space. We have let them speak. And I'll tell you why we have let them speak. Because the true Indian, the real Indian, the non-English speaking Indian, middle class boy and girl, they are always busy studying and becoming something. And when they grow up, they don't realize. When I went to Delhi from Bhopal, I didn't know a word of English. I couldn't construct a sentence in English. And I was isolated. I was made to feel as if I do not belong here. I have no right to live here. A young boy and girl in our country has to waste minimum 10 to 15 years of his prime youth just fighting English language and English mindset. Therefore, I decided I will speak for this person. I'll fight for his right. Now I'm coming to the second point. Recently I was in Purdue University. A bright young boy called Akshay Jadoo. I don't know, he should be here. Are you here, Akshay, somewhere? Oh, there he is. Akshay told me, this young bright boy, at Purdue is one of the finest universities of the world. He told me, one of these members who invented internet, am I right? Yeah. He came to their institute and they were making a presentation on the technology they are going to introduce in various parts of the world. In Japan, what they are going to do, in Korea, what they are going to do. And he asked them, sir, what's your plan for India? Guess what was the answer? The answer was that we don't have any plan for India because India is suffering from caste problem. And wherever I go in the world, people talk about the caste issue, and this is where I'm going to tell you how narratives have to be corrected. This is the wrong narrative. I'm asking you a question. Yes, we have oppressed, we are guilty of that. But there is nothing called retrospective justice. Let's look at our strength of our society. If I say in 1947, if the rate of oppression by upper caste of the lower caste was 100, where do you think it is today? No, not 0. Approximately? Okay, so generally speaking, it ranges 10 to 15%. In 70 years, a country which had nothing, which was looted not only of money, but of its dignity and confidence, has brought that social evil down from 100 to 15. This is the biggest social re-engineering success in the history of humanity. Name one society which has been able to achieve so much in 70 years. So we should be proud of our achievement. And in the end, I want to speak about something which is very dear to my heart. Wherever I go, people say, they always question me that the problem with Hindu society is that you do not empower your women. Indians have been traveling for last thousands, and since we know about humanity, we have been traveling everywhere. Wherever Hindus go, Indians go, in almost every country, every city, you will find Indians are there. And without exception, wherever you go, people say that these are good people. They are always helping, always contributing to the society, never involved in crime, never conflict with the society, never conflict with the constitution and the laws of the society. And above all, you can trust them. This world is suffering from trust deficit. We are the only community, only I'm saying with a lot of pride and facts, which unanimously people can trust. What else do you expect from humanity? What else do you expect from humanity? Now, when Elon Musk makes cars which run on battery, the entire world celebrates him. They say, wow, what a great product he has made. And obviously he must be celebrated. His picture should be on the cover of Time magazine because that has contributed to the evolution of human society. Anybody who creates great products should be celebrated. Now my question is this to the entire world. Who manufactures these great human beings you can trust? Now close your eyes and think about your mothers. Don't go by optics. How have we forgotten that human beings' biggest responsibility is to create great human beings? And our mothers do that. Tell me who's more empowered. Wherever you go, you must remember our time has come. We have to fight for our own narrative. Our films have failed to do in last few years, few decades. Therefore, we have to do individually. Now the medium is with you. It's a democratic medium. Whatever you learn, whatever you do, but start taking pride in this civilization. Not because it's important to take pride, because the world needs it. World needs great values. We come with great values, and we must spread them. And before I finish, I want to make a small announcement here. I have been searching. If you go and you say Jesus Christ, try it today on YouTube. You will find thousands and thousands of videos and so many things about Jesus Christ, about Islam, about Buddhism. Everywhere you will find so much of material is there. You say Hinduism, you will get why parents should be respected, why family system is bad, why Sita was this and why Ram was not good. You'll find lots of doubts and questions. Because it's been done systematically, in an organized fashion. Therefore, I have decided now to dedicate next 5 to 6 years of my life to create something called History of Hindu Civilization. I need your blessings. This is not something I can finish on my own. It's going to be a huge project. It will require a lot of help, blessings, a lot of material, but at least I have initiated it. I need a lot of help and blessings. You have heard me very patiently. Thank you for that. Thank you World Hindu Congress for organizing this. I'm sure there are a lot of people who are going to make movies and are going to spread good word, but it is also very important that the audience also becomes responsible. You have to make sure that next time, when your children's American friends pick up 5 Indian movies, they get to know about the great civilization we are, wherever women are empowered, wherever women are not somebody who any hero can go and spank them. Don't do that. Don't let it happen. It's you who control, because the NRIs are spending money. That's why you see those kind of heroes. Thank you.